was a... Two are at home.
How are you?
Our bill for the dome, all right?
Good now.
Yeah.
Snow every
Yeah.
day we're talking about.
It's more fun than the game.
I got it. You know what? I love Syracuse. I love Syracuse because we had...
Atlanta and Georgia and last year we were for a lot of this one Vermont.
Yeah, Lois says we're going to get together this summer. You've been putting it off, Crabtree. We're going to have them over for boat ride or dinner or whatever. Get home. Yeah, let you know. She used to stand down.
Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to start off tonight with a moment of silence for Robert Brierton, a graduate of the North Syracuse Central School District, and Kyle Kaufman, a graduate of the North Syracuse. Thank you. We have 3 presentations this evening. So CNS, if you guys are ready, come on up.
Well, thank you for having us tonight as we present our BPT presentation and highlight some of the good things happening up here at the high school. I always have to start off with a quote, and I changed it up a little bit this year, but this quote I think says it all. That reminds me of like status quo. We cannot stay where we are. We always have to look to improve, and I think with the staff and our BPT, we're always looking to do that and trying to do our best that's going to help kids. Start off and just remind you, this is our CNS, our brand. It's together we can, together we will. And I think our mission kind of reflects what the changes that we're trying to implement at the high school, starting with our culture and climate, making it a welcoming environment, and then helping kids reach their full potential as they leave us and either go to the college or workforce. All right, this falls right into our building goals. We've kind of kept these same goals, and I think you've seen in the past 3 years we've really have strived to implement that and made some changes. Again, climate and culture is very important to all of us sitting up here before you tonight, and that helping kids, and we believe that all kids can learn at a high level. And then our building goal 2 is focused on what opportunities are we giving our students that will help them after they leave high school.
So this year we started something new. It's called the North Star Pride Ceremony. Anne's going to go into a little bit more detail about it.
Carol's passing out just some of the things that go along with the Pride Ceremony. But each month so far this year, we have asked our teachers to nominate some students. And you're going to see a card in front of you there. They fill out the card if you look on the back, and they can put a personalized message to a student that they know that reflects one of the core values that we have honed in on this year: personal responsibility, respect, integrity, discipline, and engagement. So we have a ceremony where we call all the students down, either to the auditorium or the cafeteria, and read off the student's name. They are able to come and get their own personalized card from the teachers. What's been happening a lot lately is the teachers are really individualizing them. We noticed we just had one last week. We're seeing stickers and personal notes and just a lot of gratitude from the teachers to the students that are exemplifying these core values.
In the posters that Carol just passed out, one has our mission statement and brand on it, and the other is the core value chart. We gave those to each of our staff members. They're hanging in every single classroom, and they're hanging around the building as well, so that we really can promote the idea of these core values for all of our students.
So basically what you have is you break it down to what we expect of our students socially and academically in all settings. And it's working, it's highlighting our core values, what we're all about. Before this, we had many different ways that we would acknowledge students, whether it's through character ed program, positive behavior referral, and what we wanted to do is condense that into one. And before we hold the ceremonies, myself or one of the house principals, we go over this every time. And then we thank them for showing the traits that we want in our setting. So as you can see, here's a picture of our one in the fall in September. We had recognized over 525 students just through September through November. We did not do one December because it was a short month, and we just held one last week, and about 150 students were recognized. All right, getting into our building goal 1, how we are striving for a welcoming environment. Some of these on here we could continue to do, but I want to highlight some of the new changes to that. First, if you remember in the fall, we had a senior sunrise where all the seniors were invited to come to the turf and open up school together, and then we'll close school together watching a sunset on the turf with some type of movie night and end their year together. And then student survey. Again, we want to measure this goal by talking to our students about getting their feedback on the culture and climate that we are providing. We just sent one out last week. Right now, I just checked today, about 1,000 students have participated in that survey. We will then go back to BPT, take a look at the results, the feedback that the students are giving us, and what changes can we implement from that. It's always good to have students have a voice, and we are striving for that. We developed an attendance committee this year. Okay, as you know, by ESSA regulations, we are evaluated by chronic absenteeism, and that is something we also want to know, why aren't these students coming to school, whether they're not feeling connected, what can we do to help them? So the attendance committee, we meet regularly. We've taken a look at our procedures, taken a look at our attendance letters. We have modified the attendance letter, not to make it a little bit more welcoming, like how can we help you more? That's in the hands of Dan and Chris, and they're taking a look at that. And but we're just taking a look at how can we get these kids to come to school regularly. Sophomore orientation, I put that on here because this is something that I've strived since I've taken over as the executive principal, to just have our opening day be just the sophomores, juniors and seniors. It's hard for them. They come in half day, they're battling the halls, navigating the building with juniors and seniors in there. Juniors and seniors leave half day, but why not have that just that day for the sophomores? And Dan was very open to that, and then we're going to look to institute that next year. So opening day will be just the sophomores. We'll take them through their bell schedule. They'll meet all their teachers. But in the afternoon, we would like to do like some team building, making them feel connected with each other, because a lot of times, as we know, big classes, they don't know everybody. And then just start the school year off on our right foot, get to know the staff a little bit more. I've developed a committee on that. We are meeting this month to start planning what does that day look like. So I'm pretty excited about that. The development of PAC. So this came unfortunately, after the tragedies that we've had this year. This is a lot of the friend groups of both students that we lost come together, and we was listening to their feedback and getting their feedback on one of the things they want to provide is a safe environment for students. Oftentimes, as we know, students may not feel comfortable talking to adults all the time, but they are more prone to talk to each other. So this group of students have been very proactive in the school. They want to help. The PAC stands for Productive Actions for Change. This is a student-led group. Every day, they meet after school, and students can come and feel connected. They're doing some wellness activities. Yoga is something that they're going to do, bring in the therapy dogs, just connect with one another. And, but we've also trained them, took them through some training that if they encounter something that is too much for them, they have to do the warm handoff. And I have 3 staff members that oversee that every day, Lyra Couillard, Sarah Villeneuve, and Shannon Heffron. And they've been very instrumental in helping these students get this off the ground. They've also done some PSAs around diversity, mental health, and they want to help change that environment in that capacity. So that's new. All right, building goal 2. This is where we're looking at change a lot. What are we doing to help our students when they leave, reach their individual potential, but when they leave us? All right, as you know, we started the college fair 3 years ago. We just held our 3rd annual one in October. But again, this has changed too. It's not just colleges. We're talking about, we had IBEW there. We had the pipe fitters in there. We had ROTC there. I think it lent itself to anyone, no matter what pathway they take after graduation. And it was very well attended. Again, easily over 1,500 people attended this. All right, and we tie that in with our financial aid night. We brought in a speaker from ESF. He does a great job, and the auditorium was packed. So that's been very productive. Very excited that this year we have a full-time career center. Erin Deaver runs that, and she's doing a great job. We have kids out of the building doing year-long job shadows, exploring whether career or college major. She's doing some skills assessment with kids, especially where they identify their skills, and then helps them to do some research around college majors and career choices.
What we've really encouraged our departments to do over the past few years is take a look at their numbers for the program of studies and take a look at the classes that they're offering, see how many sections and students are actually taking their classes. So we've given them all of their data, and they've really taken a look, and they've taken away some classes that are not maybe so popular, and they've decided to really offer some classes that they think that the kids would be a little bit more interested in. So over the last 3 years, we've offered 28 new electives into the program of studies. This year we're offering 10 new electives, and I just kind of want to take you through them because we're really excited, and we really think that it's gonna appeal to our student population. For art, we are offering social media for the arts and studio and printmaking. Business, we're offering social media, and they will focus on marketing. So that's a little bit different from the art class. Social studies, it's called Modern Civics. This is the class where they will be making the 3D prosthetic hands, but we've decided to call it Modern Civics. Technology is going to be offered advanced woodworking and aviation and aerospace. World Language is offering language and learning through film. And then we've kind of decided to take all of the classes that John Nadler is offering, which don't seem to really fit into any department, and we've sort of given him his own department. So his department's called Stage Production because he's offering a lot of stage production classes. His stage production classes for next year are Fundamentals of Design for Theater, Live Event Production 1 and 2, Sound Design, Show Mixing and Recording, and Lighting Design and Stage Lighting. So we're super excited about all of these new electives that we're including in our program of studies. And our students just started this week, no, actually, I'm sorry, last week, choosing their classes. So we're excited about that. But I also want to highlight, 2 years ago, we decided to up the number of electives that our seniors had to take. And I just wanted to note to all of you that we've seen a 25% reduction in the number of students, the number of slots, I guess I should say, of students that are taking advantage of the late arrival or early dismissal. So we're keeping the kids in the school longer. They're taking advantage of more electives. So we're really excited about that.
Which is so important in their senior year to really do some exploration, and I think we've done a good job offering electives that have wanted to keep them in school longer as well. All right, so looking ahead. All right, so we want to we're always looking at our numbers, we're always looking at the data to say, okay, what the classes are we offering? Are students taking advantage of them? Are they productive? Are they meeting the needs for when they leave here? So we'll continue to always look at that. We want to continue the mental health education, not only to students, but also to staff yearly, and our vaping education. You know, when we talk about our students' well-being, these are two things that need to continue to happen. I'm going to talk about, so as you know, we changed our participation in government requirements, okay, and we do more civic project-based. So obviously in the first semester, again, we did the Pillows for Veterans. I went up there and I delivered pillows with our students to veterans. It was great. And we did our homeless kits. Well, this year, the next semester, our focus is, in March, a backpack program. If you have not heard of that, what that is you know, we have 30% or so free and reduced lunch, but we have students that are in need. We have many McKinney-Vento that are homeless students. A lot of our students leave on weekends and they don't have means for food. So with the participation government kids, we are establishing a backpack program. What that entails is that we are working with some local food pantries. All right, they'll have their own space where they'll make on Friday, Wednesday, Thursday, the students will put together the kits for the students, non-perishable items, and they'll deliver them to guidance, and then the students that are willing will take that food and have food on the weekend. Okay, and that's going to be run through our participation government class. So really excited about that. Again, we're going to start that in March. Looking ahead, I wanted to, you know, when we talk about wellness, not only for students and staff, the idea of we're brainstorming is, would it be nice to have a wellness room for staff and students, where students can go and staff can go. They need to digress, release some stress, and create a space where they can do that. We obviously have to brainstorm that more, put some parameters around that, but we're looking at something for that. When we talk about social emotional learning, things like that, this could be a good idea. And then I'll turn this over to Ann to talk about reestablishing a mentor program.
Bill mentioned a few minutes ago that we have an attendance committee that's up and running. And one of the things that's come out of our attendance committee is, you know, really the conversation around how we get students to school and keep them there and have them wanting to come back. So from that conversation, you know, we talked about reestablishing the mentor program at the high school. We know that the junior high is working on such a program this year. So we're in the process of identifying, you know, what students we can kind of mentor even to finish out this year and then expand that program looking ahead. It's something I think that's really important on many fronts for the students at CNS.
Just want to take this opportunity to thank our BPT members. Here they all are. We have a really good group, very proactive group, and our meetings are very productive. So I thank them for all that they do and their input. Any questions?
First of all, I want to say great job on your presentation, but also, since you've been in your leadership position, Bill, we have seen such a change in the high school. I feel that there's a lot of new things going on, a lot of exciting things, and I want to congratulate you and your staff on making that happen for our students and our faculty.
Thank you.
So then I had a few questions. With the attendance issue, Is it new when they enter high school? Are you looking at patterns before they enter the building or going back to the lower grades?
Absolutely. Historical data is a must when you look at a student, or any students. You always take a look at, is this a pattern that they've had? When did they have it? And, what can we do to kind of curb that and
Right,
get them
maybe
into school?
address it at
Yeah.
the younger age.
A lot of times it's finding the why.
Yeah.
Why
what's
aren't
going
you
on?
engaged in school in that process?
And
And when
then-
did it happen? That's a key too.
Exactly, so why aren't they engaged?
And they'll tell you.
Good. The student recognition, I love that idea, it's fantastic. Are you seeing differences per grades? I mean, you've given a lot of awards for the students, but is it like every grade has an equal amount, or?
Well, it's definitely 10 through 12, I think we're seeing, right? I wouldn't say that one grade stands out more than the other.
And it starts with the teacher doing the recognition, so is everyone getting on board with taking advantage of the program?
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to ask too, I love that you have all these new courses that you're offering. Do you have any on the stock market or how to invest money? You do? Good. Because that is one thing, as students enter into the workforce, corporations are moving away from pensions, you have to save on your own. So to arm the students with at least, being familiar with this would be a big help.
Yeah, we, in the business department, we have a class called Wall Street. We also have another class called Money and Banking, which we partner with Core Federal Credit Union, but that's also a facet of it. But I also think that in some of our math classes, that they also do bits and pieces of the stock market as well.
Great. That's
And we
important.
also brought in a speaker on financial literacy as well. He's coming in again this semester as well.
Great. Then I know all the students have to take a health class, correct? Is the curriculum current with that? I mean, with all the supplements out there, I think our students need to be educated that how some things can harm your liver, your organs in your body.
Absolutely.
Is that all
Yeah,
included
they
in it?
update their curriculum to fit the needs of what's going on too in society. But also, like, you talk about vaping, our student assistance counselor, Mrs. Stanton at the high school, she's done a great job too with educating. And then we partner with Prevention Network around substance abuse and things, and they've come in and done some presentations as well.
And one of our health teachers today, actually, she just sent all of us a link about a new disposable vaping device, I guess. She just wanted to send us a link and said, just wanted y'all to be aware of this new and upcoming thing. So they're constantly doing their research and incorporating all the new things that are invented into their classrooms.
Great.
The health curriculum has been updated at the lower levels as well to also address some of these issues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a few comments, which is normal for me. Again, I want to thank the entire administrative staff that is here tonight. You have made a difference, as Mary has said, to CNS. But also, and I will say this, I won't have to say it, Gillette and Roxville, I'll save some voice, is that the BPT teams are very vital to every building in this district. And it's most appreciated by myself and others, the time and the energy that these people give outside of their classroom to help to make the school a better place. So that goes for Gillette and Roxborough too. Please go back and thank these people. Thank you as the representative of OCM BOCES on the school board for all that you have done and will do down the road to support students that may not be going to college, that need to get a career and are finally finding themselves, and I think it helps with mental health, that they are in a track. And thank you, whoever let them go, your guidance counselors. I happened to be there that day at Thompson Road, who came and visited and had a presentation on all our new programs and the programs we have. But it was exciting to see your guidance counselors take a tour and see their students. I sat back and I watched and go, oh, Jimmy, I didn't know you're really into this, you know, the welding and so forth. So I just think that's a great program that you allow your guidance counselors to come in and see the new programs that kids are excited about. Now, food pantry. I facilitate one, and Mrs. Couliard and I work together at Christmas time. I'm going to open that up. We're only like 4 miles down the road with this backpack program. So if you would like me to help a little bit, I would love to. We have seniors in our whole school district and other school districts, senior citizens that participate in our food pantry and give us food. So let me keep in contact with you because we're just down the road. We're just down the road from you. But thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our next presentation tonight will be from Gillette.
Thank you for having us this evening. So we wanted to share this shot from, this picture is from, and it helps us focus on the reason that these are the members of our planning team, and again, they're all very hardworking. They bring a lot to the table. They are a collaborative group, and as you'll see through the rest of our presentation this evening, we've had a busy year of change like that, and so all of these folks working together have a reminder of what our mission statement. It still applies, and again, it guides the work that we do, as does our vision. And some demographic data about Gillette. Highlights in this chart for us this year is it is the first year at Gillette for the first time. For us to support students, a group of students. Opportunity we have, our staff continues. Understand is growing in the district, and we're going to benefit from that as well.
We've had a great opportunity and a new middle school schedule on it with Roxborough Road. Highlights of that, it's a 3-day rotation, which last year's 4-day, which was able to take the minutes that we have down from 80 to 60. It also allows us to build in some other back in with each other involved in problem solving. Because of that, the checking in time allows us to collect data and then discuss it with our play teachers, math teachers at grade and 6, 5 and 6 meet every hour. Gathering data, looking how that applies that we have, and then certainly relating back to our colleagues and having discussions to better support our children, classes, and students. All those are goal-driven. We're focused on that, so we take the data, compare it, make sure it's happening, and then, as I say, we our time every 3 days. Opportunity that we did not have. Finally, with that 3-day schedule we're now haven't had before. Family and consumer science, technology, STEM, science and technology, engineering, mathematics, along with personal management. They're meeting highlights of them doing it. In the STEM program, the students are working with robotics. Had a lot of hands-on, quite a bit of energy in the room. There's quiet, filling out papers, or definitely engaged and involved. That's part of a program called Project Lead the Way, which is what we have at the high school, which is a national accredited program that allows the students to classes, and those classes will then be applied. Hallway, our math programs, the PLC classroom, outside the classroom again, kind of getting them moved. So we asked the students, all right, so you have this new opportunity that you haven't had before. The 7th graders have had opportunities, but not the 5th and 6th. Go ahead and give us a word or word.
Hi, I'm Monica Fitzgerald. I'm a teacher and part of BBT at Gillette Road. And I'm just going to share some of our initiatives for our social emotional learning at Gillette Road. I would be remiss to not mention our amazing counselors. We have Kelly, Diane, Elaine, Katie, Carrie, Lynn, and April. They're the ones that really lead the way. And these are a lot of their initiatives. And if it's not theirs, they're very involved with the others. The first initiative, Kelly and Diane provided a staff meeting overview of the ACEs. Adverse childhood experiences, it's what the students with invisible backpacks come to school with. The stress, worry, fear, anxiety, sadness. It's too heavy for learning to take place. So when we're aware as adults, we're able to meet the individual needs of the students. We also have a mentor program. This is where we pair staff with students, and currently we have 16 staff members paired with 23 students. I'm going to share a little bit more in a bit. We have weekly STAR meetings where the administration meets with John O'Neill, our SRO, and our entire counseling suite to discuss students that need are exhibiting certain behaviors and need extra support. We have our Positivity Project. We've merged with previous character ed programs as well as started some new initiatives, and Sean's going to share that in just a second. We have an introduction. We're thinking about the mental health standards and how can we implement them into the classrooms. Some of the topics are resiliency, feelings, communication skills, verbal and nonverbal, empathy, gratitude, and forgiveness. The standards have a breakdown of K to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 8. Right now we're just exploring how can we better implement them into the classroom. ADAPEP still continues with lessons in the classroom, and some of their topics include bullying, cyberbullying, a district-wide anonymous tip line 411, stress management. All of these initiatives are aimed to be proactive rather than reactive. Our mentor program, I want to share a little bit more about our mentor program. We're in year 2 of our program. Erica Gilbert, Cindy Chesla, and I had a vision to support our most vulnerable students. We currently have 16 staff members meeting with 23 students. We have a meeting coming up actually this Wednesday with our mentors to touch base. We talk about what supports they need, how's it going, and we share ideas. We're gathering longitudinal data to discover ways that we're making a difference in attendance, behavior, and course grades. Looking at this data, at the end of last year, we could see some positive trends. There was a decrease in behaviors, less referrals, increase in grades, and increase in attendance. And that's just from 1 year. What's next? For Gillette Road, we're going to continue to meet with our mentors and collaborate around this work. We just wrote a grant to NSEF for resources for our mentors. For North Syracuse Central School District, we shared with the junior high, so we're happy that they've started their own mentor program. And we would like to see if a couple more schools this spring are able to get on board with us and are interested in following our vision. We would like to see every school have a mentor program. And now Sean will share our Positivity Project.
So this year at Gillette, along with me being new to the district, and all the other changes, the scheduling, the PLCs and everything, the Positivity Project is in its first year at Gillette as well. Focusing on pushing it throughout the school by various ways this year. If you want to scroll to the next one. So our goal here is to empower and build relationships between the students and staff, and doing this weekly, starting on Mondays, typically in most classes. The WIN class, they will go through the Positivity Project slides, the trade of the week, which were found in the national calendar, and they provide a lot of details for the teachers to use. But we've seen as we've been going along that more and more teachers are pushing it into their other classes, doing different projects throughout the school. If you walk through the school right now, there's probably 5 or 6 different teachers that have done walls with the different traits for the students, from FACS classes to ELA classes. Math classes are getting involved, so it's starting to grow a little bit in the first year, which was great. As we've already said, it's merged with some of the other school areas. The character ed education has come in. We've kind of stepped up and worked with them with their Candy for Veterans and different gifts that they normally did. They've joined on with Positivity Project. We have a great group on the committee. I'm working with a couple of the co-chairs. Monica happens to be one, and then Ryan Root are helping me out as I came in late and kind of get running on pushing it to the forward. And the highlight of the year, we're hoping, is our last assembly for the year will be the founder of Positivity Project, Mike Irwin, is coming to the school in June to do a presentation, which typically will be broadcast throughout the Positivity Project, the 600 schools throughout the country that are now part of the Positivity Project and growing each day. A couple of things that we're doing in school for the students to know that they're being recognized are we're handing out the P2 tickets, which you'll see on the next slide. Green tickets, the teachers will sign what trait that the students have been shown. Teachers will sign it, the principals will sign it, and it just shows the students that they're valued. We also just started doing other JAGS Matter stickers, so kids can put them on their hydro flasks, their computers, stuff like that. So it's a little sticker you'll see on the next page just to show their support again, and that other people matter in the school. So the goal for this year is just to build citizenship across the school building, and in our first year I think we've done a pretty good job. We have a school assembly coming up again on March 11th on the half day. We're in the process of getting ready to start that. So these are just some of the pictures. Top right, left-hand corner is our P2 ticket. You can see the sign and the principal would sign and the traits that the student values. All right. And then the bottom right-hand corner is a sticker that the students would get. And then you can have our Candy for Troops and some of the other pictures that are around the school. And as I said, some of the stuff has popped up in the last couple weeks, more and more billboards and stuff, and we have a Google share slide now that the teachers can put all their stuff for positivity up there, and classes can see what they're doing. So if even 7th grade teachers don't get to the 5th grade classrooms all the time, they can see what the other people in the classroom are doing.
Actually, I saw that you have Dr. Feliti's ACEs scoring method. Is that what you're using? That's fantastic. Have you actually gone into with any of the kids the 10 questions?
We just recently had our staff meeting, and so it was introduced to the teachers, and the survey was given to the teachers to identify like maybe their ACEs and think about what difficulties students might have. So we're right in the beginning stages right now, and
A predictor of maybe some mental health problems. So if you see that they've got 3, 5, you know
Yeah.
what's coming.
yeah, so it's another way to be proactive, to really think, what do our students need and where do we next?
And we
I was fortunate enough to engage with Dr. Filiti directly. I know the study so well, and it's very impressive. It's more than coincidence. It's deeply studied. So, a great job on that.
So I just want to say congratulations and good job on your very first BPT day as the principal of the school. Also with your new schedule, very exciting. Have you had challenges that you've had to get at?
discovered quickly. But, you know, what wouldn't have known education and the professionalism of the staff. We have the time, and we're grateful for that.
That's
I think
awesome.
that the discipline, busy, don't have time.
Fantastic, and it appears that they like it.
They do.
So that's great. For your mentor program, did you ever consider pulling in some student mentors also, so they would feel engaged with their peers?
Right now, being in year 2, we're still, learning about the process, what works at Gillette Road. We have talked briefly about bringing in students, what that might look like down the road. But we're open to ideas, especially students.
Like giving someone a mentorship opportunity, someone who, one of your superstars, to help someone come along. I think that would be beneficial.
Fabulous
Great job.
idea.
Thank you.
I always have a few comments or questions. Again, an excellent report, as Mary said. So Dave, you've been there 15 years, am I correct? About 15? 20, there we go. My concern is, and people need to be aware, I'm guessing your free and reduced lunch is almost doubled, maybe more. And Gillette, so we have to look at your socioeconomic. It has changed over the years, and we need to watch that. So can you tell me, Dave, because I think the question's for you. So I'm very concerned about mental health. How many social workers, psychologists you have in your school?
Yes, we have.
Excellent.
So Bob, just to, that coming from me,
Yep.
Liberty Resources was added this year
Yep.
as far as mental health, and the additional counselor was also new this year that was approved in the budget.
We had added
Correct.
staff. Now, where's my question, Dan?
And we utilize them, all of them.
So I'm a student, I'm a fifth grade student, and do I know who to go to? Do I see something, one of my friends is changed, his personality's changed, and he's really depressed. Do I know who to go to in your building to, okay.
And that's a good question, and so one of the things
So you have somebody available every day? We do. Okay, so if a kid needs to go? Yes. All right. My other question is, and I could be way off on this, I could be thinking about the junior high. Was music made, were band made during the day? Was that new this year?
Yes.
Okay, how's that working out?
it is working well. Schedule it during study hall. To be in AIS. So it's working.
My concern is that, and I'm so happy with your new scheduling, and it goes to our whole district, is that, we can't forget, and we're not, but we need to have music in all the arts, STEAM, not just STEM. We need STEAM, and I'm concerned that we need to keep that going in our district, so thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Okay, and last but not least, we have Roxborough. Welcome.
Last for last, right?
Well, thank you for having us this evening, and my name is David Shaw, and I'm the principal at Roxborough Road Middle School. I'm joined by Ashley Carducci, our associate principal, and Suzanne Bromley, our BPT chair for this year. I also want to recognize Colleen O'Connor, last year's BPT chair, Ryan Condon, who will be next year's BPT. They're in the audience tonight, and thank you for being here. Thank you as well to all of our BPT members this year for doing a fantastic building. Quick profile on who we are at Roxborough. We're just over 800 students this year with over 127 staff. We're at about 15% IEP students with 121, about 5% ENL with 43. That number has climbed significantly over the past couple of years. Are measured at 56% free or reduced price lunch. Talk about the implications of that with our free breakfast. Our mission and vision is year 2. We developed this 2 years ago. Our mission will be continuing, but next year we will be working on our vision. It's really intended to be a 3-year process where we look at it every 3 years and update that vision. We've used that vision steadily throughout the last 2 years, and our presentation tonight is aligned to those 4 bullets. They are our goals for our building. Working on setting high expectations for growth for everyone. Working on showing pride in ourselves and our school, collaborating together with collective responsibilities, and of course, Very proud of the work that we've done in these 4 areas over the last 2 years.
So this is year 2 of our professional learning communities. Last year, the focus of these PLCs was to identify essential standards. And this year, our work has shifted to creating essential standards unit plans. We have worked in PLCs on one of 2 goals within that. The PLCs have chosen to either create 6 essential standards unit plans or to create 2 to 3 essential standards unit plans with common assessments and implementation into the classroom. You can see a picture of Greg Stone. He came in and he supported some of our ELA PLC work. Donna Marie Norton has also come in to support math PLCs, and we've had other instructional coaches who have come into our building to help with that work. And our teachers are finding it as valuable time. We're really happy to have it as part of our school day and to have time to, a common time to collaborate with peers and do that work.
So the PLCs has been a large initiative for our building and as time well spent process. Our new master's schedule, I won't repeat what Gillette said, but just to highlight it, new 3-day schedule, and we're finding a lot of success with it. Getting a lot of positive feedback from staff, students, and parents alike. They're enjoying the CTE courses. We have a Godalo doing a STEM presentation for some parents on parent night, and you can see the Lego robotics kit he uses there. I think that's a fraud. But the CTE courses like STEM, like the extension of tech, the extension of health into 6th grade are really, and facts as well, are really being taken in students, and they're really, of course, PLC time, Suzanne just discussed, being built into the schedule allows data in a new way. Be able to implement this win time or what I need time. Our teachers are incredible with their flexibility of trying. Really catch those students when they're falling behind in their work, falling behind in their instruction, to catch them up and keep them. As it was already mentioned, music during the school day. Don't just said, and we're enjoying. A little data for you. This is our progress through the reading inventory and the math inventory. Math on the top and ELA underneath. Last 3 years. These numbers show the percentage of students who have grown from levels 1 and 2, which would be considered below the level that we want them to be at, into a level 3 and 4, which would be proficient or advanced levels. See, we've had this year upwards of a quarter of our students moving out of areas called in the red into areas in the green. Fantastic. ELA, the numbers are a little bit more. At the same time, we're glad we're seeing students moving in the right direction. We have students who are leaving and moving into proficient see every single year. State results are on the next slide, and these show actual achievement. These are the percentages of students that are scoring a 3 or 4, again, on the math or ELA state testing. And I'd encourage you to look at the cohorts as they move through our year. To look at math in the 5th grade in the 2016 and 17 school year, 19% of our students were proficient. Next year for those students, they moved up to 41%, and then they stayed about there at 37% the following year in 18-19 when they moved up to 7th grade. The same is true for the next year's cohort. Math 5th grade in 17-18 started at 22%, and then they jumped up to 42% proficient. Those are great numbers of our students growing, and we see that mirrored in the ELA numbers as well. For our students' growth.
So I'll take a minute here just to take a look at our second goal, which is nurture pride in the Roxborough Road Middle School community and in each individual. So it's exciting to kind of start off with our family events. We offer a variety of events every month. offering a time for parents to come in and to be a part of the building. So it started right off at the beginning of the year when we have our open house nights, locker nights, and the halls are filled. So throughout the variety of opportunities that we have, movie nights, we had a movie night over the holidays. We're having another one next week where our music club is going to be hosting a Dr. Seuss night. And so again, anytime that we can get students and families in the building for different opportunities throughout the year, it's exciting. We've got, strollers coming in and the halls are full, which is a great sign. I'm looking forward to, I've heard a lot about Pie Night that we have coming up in the spring, as well as the Rocks Trot. Pretty soon, spring concerts will be underway. And then I think I can't even believe that we're already in the second semester here. We'll be celebrating our 7th graders during awards night. And so we, again, really cherish those opportunities that we have when we can bring families in.
One result of having pride in our building is having students come to school more frequently, and so we've also worked on updating our attendance committee, similar to CNS, and again, I won't repeat information there. But one thing that the attendance committee has looked at more closely this year than in past is trying to target students that are hitting that 5 to 10 absences range. We really feel like we can make an impact on kids when they're just starting to show attendance signs, check in with their families, check in with their teachers, and make sure everything is where it needs. Trying to catch them while we can help them. In the past, we've had a nature to not focus on start with the needs-based, and so start with the students with the highest attendance issues first. And this year, we've really prioritized starting with those kids in that 5 to 10 absence, try and help them sooner instead of waiting for the problem to grow.
And I'll let Dave kind of click through as I talk to you about, so Pride in our building includes some building updates that we've had. So I'm not sure if you've been to Roxborough since December break, but we had some construction take place on our main entrance. And so Dave will have kind of a variety of pictures that will be displayed here. But really what we did was we adjusted the interior set of doors to create a 2-point entry into the building. And so you can see a wall went up. It was funny as I was looking at this in preparation for tonight, I kind of don't even remember what it looked like before. So we definitely adjust quickly. However, when visitors come to Roxborough, they will be buzzed into the first set of doors from the outside. And there are 2 windows you can see in that bottom picture on the right-hand side there. The first is for our security guard, and he will be using the Raptor system to check their identification. And the second window is actually for our attendants. So a lot of our traffic that we see in the building is coming to pick up students, and so they'll no longer need to gain entry to the whole building to do that. This second semester, we already have our security guard was moved after December break, and we're hopeful in the second semester we'll see our attendance aide also move over. And so again, we're still refining some of the work here over the next few breaks that we'll have coming up, and that will include finishing off some of the electrical so that there's a second electric lock that will happen here on that set of doors facing the main office, which will grant access, if a visitor has a parent conference or something of that sort. But again, it's interesting how quickly we get used to something, but it's certainly, it's nice to have that 2-point entry system in place.
Okay, so this brings us to our next goal, which is promoting collaboration and collective responsibility among staff members for student growth. This year we had the initiation of our school support team, which is a team of teachers and counseling staff who are providing support to teachers and students. Here you can see the flow chart that was created by our SST team. It's a multi-tiered system of support and provides strategies and interventions for staff when they're encountering students with behavioral or academic difficulties.
We're also going to be conducting a climate walk in the winter and the spring. We just discussed this at our last BPT meeting, and we're going to be focusing really on our hallways. We found that with the change in the master schedule that certain periods are behaving a little bit differently in the hallways than the last year's schedule, and so we're going to be walking the building and trying to measure that for ourselves to see where we can collaborate together and collectively help improve that climate. Have that vision realized for collaborating and making Roxborough better.
Sorry, we're passing back and forth quite a bit here. But so for the next goal, really creating an environment where differences of members of Roxborough is celebrated, certainly seen as a strength. So again, we'll echo many of the same sentiments you heard from Gillette as far as implementing the Positivity Project. So this is our first year with the Positivity Project, and it's gone very well. We have a great team of teachers that have taken the lead, and they're really guiding the building as far as they've presented to staff at faculty meetings. We've provided a lot of resources to make sure that it's not seen as kind of another thing or another prep. We've gotten buy-in, I would say comfortably, from the staff as well as the students across the board. And a lot of that then too goes to the leadership team that's rolled that out from the teacher standpoint. We've got it branded throughout the building. You can see the Positivity Project logo. Staff all have t-shirts. We have staff that just started wearing it. They made it a thing where they're wearing it every Monday. But then we certainly do have days where we'll encourage the entire staff to really have that sense of unity. It's been exciting in a middle school level, you know, to be able to adopt a character ed program like this where students are really invested, and to have common language from 5th grade through 7th grade, and then to also see that being adopted by the district so that it's carried through at each level, I think is just very powerful. The goal is to build positive relationships and to continue to keep that other people matter mindset. And we certainly see that impact. There's something to be said when teachers are all using that common language every week. And teachers are implementing it in different ways. We left that up to them. But we do have common slides and materials that have been provided to them to have some consistency if they wish. But they're really, you'll walk in as I'm going into classrooms, and I see teachers weaving it into their instruction in many different ways, which I think is what is the true picture of us buying into this and us really making true meaning of the Positivity Project. So students are receiving recognition for distributing those character traits of whatever week, whatever trait we're focusing on for that week. We did have grade level assemblies to also recognize all of them in front of their peers. And we'll be planning another one for the spring to wrap that up. But again, I think it's just really exciting stuff that's happening that is impacting the pulse of the building already in year one.
Another initiative that we started last year was a differentiated learning day for our staff members on a staff half day. Last year, our staff put together their own professional development around differentiated instruction, and that was a huge success, and we wanted to continue that this year. We're still going to keep working on differentiated instruction, but we're also going to add in a little bit on the various forms that win time will take and the instructional practices that can work during win time, and just that opportunity for us to share with each other about the different ways that we meet student needs. Powerful for staff. Finally, another big change for us at Roxborough is the free breakfast and lunch program for all of our students. I still remember getting the notification from Mr. Keegan about that and being so excited for our population and our school. And remember talking with our PTO about it, and parents just glowing with what that meant for their families. I have a little picture there. It was hard to capture exactly what this feels like when you have 300 kids coming in at breakfast every morning. But it is a line, and the kids are patient and fantastic about it. I want to give huge thank you to Michelle Marcourt and our food service program, all of our food service workers. They are incredible with what they do every morning. Well, to Wendy Swift and of course Don for their leadership behind the scenes. Have upwards of 325 kids every morning getting free breakfast. That's near 40 of our kids. And at lunch we have anywhere from 600 to 650 kids getting it's about 75% of our student body, or 75 plus of our student body. Fantastic initiative, our kids and our families. On behalf of all of us, thank you. We appreciate it. And of course, we're happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you for your presentation. Great job. Ashley, I just want to say your understanding of the Positivity Project and the importance that it is to our students, she could be a spokesperson for this. I love how you communicate that and just realize how important it is. Life, there's challenges, and it's sometimes it's how you look at it, and it's such an important tool that you're arming our students and our children with that they didn't have before. So
It's been great, and
spokesperson, Dan, for the whole school district. The lunch or the breakfast program, I'm so happy to hear that it's, going over great. Is that just for this year? Is it just a pilot or?
Community Eligibility Program is implemented at the Rocks campus, both Rocks L and Rocks Middle, and we're looking at implementing it at everything to do with the free and reduced lunch rate and qualifying the schools for the program. It's our intention that the program would continue indefinitely. Has created some logistical breakfast, and we're kind of going one building at a time and trying to solve some of those problems with some innovative thinking. How to get kids to breakfast sooner and through the line quicker. And might have remembered, Mary, we heard this weekend at the breakfast, none of our cafeterias were built to serve all kids at once, and whether it be the go through or the seating. So it's a great opportunity. I really do think it's probably making a difference for families. We just need to iron out some.
Thank you.
One thing, big change in the math scores. How did that happen? Because right now, math is not the easiest subject, even as we move up into the higher levels. What changes did you make? I mean, when I'm looking at those changes, those are quite big changes as the kids moved up.
Yeah, I know sixth grade in particular has really used that.
Okay.
Last year, we started to dedicate meaningful time to it, and I think we're seeing the benefits of that. Trying to use that model and replicate it all over the building. I would chalk up a lot of that to the ability of the team to collaborate with each other, look at their curriculum, have good, healthy conversations about that, and implement it with fidelity. They check each other on how kids are doing. They learn from each other about what kinds of lessons work based on how the kids have performed.
Just a couple comments. Ashley, welcome to North Syracuse. We're glad you're here. I always like to see new people. Not that I don't like to see Dave, but I like to see new people, and I'm thinking you're really enjoying working with him and the building. And also thank you to Suzanne for this year, and Colleen, and I know you're in the audience. Thanks for all the work that you did, and Ryan will be on board next year. I like that there's change, that you have new people coming in. One thing I really pulled out tonight of both middle schools is that you're working together. When I was a teacher in this district and my students went from Bear Road, some went to Roxborough and some went to Gillette, they weren't the same programs, okay? I knew that when I visited the schools. You could tell there's difference. I see so much similarity, and that's for a thank you to you and to the other Dave and also to the administrators in the school district. The one thing Dan told me the minute I walked in, look at the class sizes. And the middle school, it could be, I know it could be a little bit better, but it's much better than when I left this board 5 years ago. It's really better, and I know that makes a difference. I'm thinking that makes a difference on math scores, too. But thank you all for coming and presenting.
I did notice that the other, and of course, you know, I got excited when I heard about the ACEs scores. And if you haven't studied it, I'd encourage you to talk to the other middle school because your school has a bit more challenges. And you're gonna, when you see that 10-question questionnaire and the statistics, you may want, if you would be open to it, to speak with them and find out what that study's all about. It's incredibly helpful if you know what a student has been through. It's a great predictor of what their challenges are, how they're thinking, and where their mental health is.
Personally, I am familiar with the ACEs program, and over the last couple of years, we've had presentations from Dr. Ryder on trauma-informed practices, and staff had a lot of information on. We didn't specifically discuss ACEs group, but just recently, at the last half day, our 7th grade counselor, we haven't put it out to the staff yet, but.
And even if the staff just takes the questionnaire and have a discussion amongst themselves, it's very enlightening.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have no comments from the audience this evening, so we'll move on to Board of Education Committee reports. Mary.
Our next policy committee meeting is on Monday, February 10th at 5 o'clock.
And our legislative meeting will be Wednesday, Abraham Lincoln's birthday, February 12th, 5 o'clock.
Dan, superintendent comments.
Thank you. The other night, Roxborough Road Elementary put on a math night in conjunction with the Y program. It was an absolutely phenomenal event. The parking lot was jam-packed. There were students, families. There was a presentation by Mr. Wojcik to help families learn about strategies to help their children with math. There were games. We fed them food. Sue Straub had her book, Van Gogh. It was, I mean, a full community event, and there were smiles, and kids were hugging their teachers. I know Mr. Crabtree was there, but it was an incredible sight to see. And again, I wanted to publicly acknowledge the staff for the event and what they did. Our boys hockey team just came up short in playing FM, but it was Teacher Appreciation Night, so it was great to see all the staff there supporting the program and the students that they made a difference for. Boys swimming was this past Friday night at Lemoyne, and Mr. Crabtree and several of our board members, Mr. Thorne, Mrs. Scanlon, Mr. Mr. Marizio, were all at the legislative breakfast. And Ms. Kruger was always, Terry was also there. I'm trying to remember all the people, but it was
I only sat right next to you, Dan. It's
I know.
okay.
I pulled a chair over.
I will
But,
say, we had the most out of any of the local
we did.
school districts, so.
But the one nice thing about that is the legislators did know that the concerns around foundation aid and the concerns for the districts were there in force, and it was a good event. And we had students there, and I do believe we were the only district with students there. And we have a Winter Guard event coming up this weekend, so great things happening.
Do we have any board comments?
Actually, at that breakfast, at that legislative forum, I actually had a moment to speak with our representative, Al Sturpey, and he had actually mentioned that they bring in college students for an effort in helping the kids with coping mechanisms as internships, and I believe it might be Liverpool that's utilizing that. One of the things that it's mentioned that kids, when they're at play, is when they're going to talk. And it's not so much, by the time they have enough courage to get to a counselor, it's often too late. So if you can catch them hanging out and they have kids closer in age to talk to, they found it useful. So perhaps it's something we can look into.
I just want to say about the legislative breakfast, well, it's forum, they call it now. I thought it was fabulous that we did have the biggest turnout, but the school districts, they all came out. They were there. What I was a little disappointed with was we just had our assembly people there. Al Sturpey and Pamela Hunter were there, and that was it. So I was a little bit disappointed with that turnout.
And I had to piggyback on that. I was going to talk a little bit about the legislative, is that only 2 of our legislators were there. Pam Hunter, who is doing a great job, and Al Sturpey. And we don't have a senator. We don't have a senator for our majority of our district here, and that's a problem because our budget is coming up and we have nobody to fight for us in Albany. And that's my little thing, but the other senator did not come, and she sent her representative and another assemblyman. So I'm happy Pam Hunter, our 2 representatives were there, and they care. I've got to thank Don Keegan. He must have spent Friday night working on budget facts for us and questions, and I didn't even ask a question. I'm sorry. But thank you for the time and energy that you put in, because you've been studying this budget. And for the community, we're losing out again this year. Isn't that a surprise? Foundation aid, our governor is going out there saying that we're getting more money. Yeah, but it's a shell game because BOCES is 0, and this is 0, and this is 0. So we're in a difficult situation. I know we're going to make it because we have the greatest leaders here to help us through, but it's hard. I know Don starts probably the day after the budget vote and starts for the next year because we have to fight every year for what we need. At our next legislative meeting, I'm giving everybody the executive New York School Boards Association executive budget analysis so we can look at it a little bit more. And Pam Hunter's sending a rep, and so is Senator May, so we'll have people there. Talking about Roxborough Road Math Night, it was phenomenal because a lot of staff were there. I mean, you walked in, it was entire staff helping out with the event, and I always like that when I see staff helping. I've asked Dan, I think as a board, we need to look at maybe John coming in, spending 15 minutes, and go over what a math program is. It isn't what Mr. Harrington and I had when we went to school. It's a whole new math program and how math is taught. And they have a new program this year that I think we want to know a little bit about. So I'm asking Dan down the road, doesn't have to be tomorrow or whatever. My other concern, and it's just mine again, deals with staff. We're doing so much, and I asked the questions, Mary asked the questions, Terry asked the questions about wellness. Wellness with the staff, or I mean with the parent, or with the students, excuse me. They know who to go to. I'm concerned about staff now. I've done some watching and observing, and do we have things for staff that are stressed out? I can't imagine a staff member now with all the new things they have to do in the classroom and the time and the energy and the mental health thing. I never had that. You know, I never had to worry about that. So I'm going to be watching and doing some research. I have a couple books because I want to make sure staff come in and they enjoy coming into our program and enjoy teaching and not have to worry about some of the other things. I am, Dan, very concerned about staff and stress. Sharing that with you.
We have a couple routine action items. Do I have a motion to take A, B, and C together as a group? Mark, all those in favor? Discussion action items. We have a recommendation to create an additional .3 speech therapist into an 7 at Smith Road. Dan, if you want to just.
We had created an additional 15-to-1 classroom at Smith Road, and the needs of the students were assessed. I believe you saw that we had added for OT at the last board meeting, and so there is an additional need to add a .3 in speech in order to meet the IEP needs of the students.
Questions? Mary and Terry, all in favor? B, surplus of marketable equipment. Any questions? Do I have a motion to accept B? Bob and Terry, all those in favor? We have a gift this evening. The North Syracuse Central School District Sponsor Recognition Program received a check from Nagel Athletic Surfaces in the amount of $1,000. A sponsorship sign will be displayed for 1 year. I have a motion to accept the gift. Mary, George, all those in favor? It's that time of the year. We have a lot of people who are going to be leaving us to retire, so run through this list so we can properly thank them. We have James Gapsky, a custodian 1, retires with 30 years of service. Terry Merrill, an auto mechanic crew leader, retires with 30 years of service. Julie Bloomer, Spanish teacher, retires with 31 years of service. Patricia Coughlin, speech therapist, retires with 31 years of service. Doreen Dangos, a teaching assistant, retires with 14 and a half years of service. Beth Fina, teaching assistant, retires with 31 and a half years of service. Cindy Hind, teaching assistant, retires with 20 years of service. Christina June, an elementary teacher, retires with 31 years of service. William Kowalski, a technology teacher, retires with 25 years of service. Patricia Madigan, a science teacher, retires with 28 years of service. Denise Moriarty, math teacher, retires with 17.9 years of service. Diane Muller, a teaching assistant, retires with 26 years of service. Patricia Mulhill, a special education teacher, retires with 37 years of service. Ann Nowakowski, a teaching assistant, retires with 29.4 years of service. Glenda Pates Crowfoot, a teaching assistant, retires with 19 years of service. Kevin Schultz, a math teacher, retires with 22 years of service. Sandra Schultz, an elementary teacher, retires with 19.8 years of service. Nancy Selesky, elementary teacher, retires with 15 years of service. Gerald Testa, a teaching assistant, retires with 15 years of service. Anne Maria Torrey, a teaching assistant, retires with 20.5 years of service. And Lynn Waters, school psychologist, retires with 27.5 years of service. This is a lot of time. I did the math. It's 522.1 combined years of service. That's irreplaceable and invaluable to our staff, students, and our community. So I wish everybody here a long, happy, and healthy retirement. And we're losing a lot of great people this year. So congratulations to all of them. Moving on to personnel, we have just A and B this evening. Do I have a motion to accept A and B as submitted if there are no questions?
I want to make, well, I guess do the motion first, go.
Matt and Terry.
Again, many teachers, but not as many as we have in the past. And the amount of service is just unbelievable, because teaching, like I said, is not what it used to be. And every one of these teachers, every one of these teaching assistants is a dedicated person that we're going to lose. And we'll be filling it, but it's still, it's a big loss. And again, I'll talk about support staffs too, because I know Roxborough Road, we voted on. Middle school lost their custodian, Bear Road, and now we're losing Gillette. We're losing 3 people that gave over 30 years of their service to another difficult thing. And I believe I met Terry when I went over from my bus thing, and what a dedicated person. He talked to me a little bit about mechanics when I was over there, and I remember our director saying that he was going to be leaving at the end of the year. So these people all add to make us the kind of school district that we are.
Do I, all those in favor? Unanimous. We do not have an executive session tonight unless somebody needs one. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn? Mark and Terry, all those in favor? All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.